Hello and welcome. It is currently 9:55 p.m. Eastern, and the date is June the 7th, 2021. My name is Derek, and this is the Money Charts channel. All bets, trades, and amongst alike, to each his own risk and their own reward. A lot of times, these patterns just appear over and over, it seems. And then you get to the situation, okay, what would you do to spotlight this? Would you buy to go long? Would you short to bet it would go down? Or would you really do neither, because I don't see an advantage either way? Well, the answer is pretty obvious, I would think. And if I really need to explain it to you, please let me know, because I've explained it over and over and over again. So with that being said, what would you do with your Bitcoin? And buying some Theta. Okay, well, I mean, this is just a beautiful pattern. I love this. This is gonna go, baby. It's gonna go. I think it is anyway. That's my prediction. How many other people put Bitcoin and whatever else, tethers or whatever, Ethereum into Theta coming here soon? Previous high against Bitcoin occurring right at the start of the new season in March. Coming back to it again near about 4 weeks later. And man, nothing much here May 8th area, but something. But here was a spot where it looked like it was going to get going back to previous high on May 19th area. No. And then the decent decline, but oh, wow. It enters RIA 18 and then up to the 18 average of highs. It supports above the low area, but still holding this area of support. And then this is where it gets big here on June the 2nd. It has a day where the volatility is micro. High 22,000, the low of 20,430. And that's near 5% in itself. And compared to all these other days, most of these other days are higher than that. Well, this day in itself, a high of 28.4 change, 24.8 and a low of 21. That's a differential of like 370 or so on 21. So that's like 17% volatility. Well, the up day was 15, so yeah. But that up day was breaking the level of resistance of these 2 days. It broke the resistance in here. And then it has further gains on the next day on June the 4th with a lot of pullback coming down to like 22 change. And then grinding its way for the last few days ever since. Today, in today's session, June the 7th, it microscopically getting up to, or above it, breaking resistance at 28. So it's just grinding in there previous high. So as I see it, just even within the 18, you're in the pattern where you have this little bit of support. I know that's not a straight line, but you get the idea of the trend that was in. And the same thing as far as on the way up in here and whatever trend line you want to do. Well, this has been a break of it, and it's been showing like just the holding in there like this. This to me is a significant, serious pattern, I think, anyway. On the weekly chart, I really do like how this thing is breaking out. Excitation, I guess you could say. Above and away from the 18 moving average of highs. Front-weighted average as well, too. And what does front-weighted mean? Well, it means it takes the current number. So we're talking about the highest. So it would take the highest price it's had today is 28,000. Okay, or this week, rather. Multiply that by 18. And then the previous number, okay, it got up to 26,940. Okay, multiply that by 17. And multiply the previous level by 16, previous by 15, 14 in each one, and so on, until the one before that being 1. And then you take the sum of all those numbers, and you divide it by the sum of 1 to 18, which I think is 171. But that's how the front-weighted average works. And it gives more weighting towards recent events in that form, which is how I like it better. Yeah, so that's how I do it. And if you use like the 18 average of close of like a simple average, I'd probably do just as well. As it goes, I mean, it had a lot of this congestion at the 18 average of highs, and then it did that. Then it comes down, and again, just leaving the 18 like this. And I mean, the daily time frame might look a little bit like that, just a little bit, not, but only really literally just a little bit like that. And the monthly chart, close to coming back to an official correction. I mean, close. It did not quite make it to the 18 average of highs on May the 1st week. But what it did do was after, and here we had a spot where you can see it was in, like, I know it doesn't have much data, but you're in this like correctionary sideways type of phase. Okay, attempt to break out in this here. Come back, okay, 2 periods where you hold. Now it's all about breaking this resistance, which of course it did. It had to stabilize amongst it for 5 or so weeks. And then phenomenal move up. So 1 leg higher it's had. It's corrected well for 2 weeks, and it's now attempting to, I've seen this pattern happen before, where it's just a little bit of correction within, and heck, you could have a fantastic move going forward. Let's see what happens. Let's switch it up to the against the dollar. And I put these lines in way back when, which was after during this after the fall here. Yeah, I mean piercing above. That's weird. It's weird. I mean, it happens. Not often though. Not often. And that's what's so weird. Usually, if you think law of average and law of math or whatever, that if you're talking about when you barely hit this line, barely hit it a little bit on each side, and you have a whatever evening term, like so it's like 5% here, whatever. So it's the same validity. You think, well, over 100 sample sizes, it should be above and below 50-50 on average, like a coin flip or doing a deck of cards red and black type deal. And I would normally have thought that, but it does extra. This is one of the rare times it did less. I mean, it's pretty much an exact hit at this level. Congesting here at this level, and now, of course, we've been resisting amongst this point. It got up to 10 earlier today. It got up to 10:09. When I see it was at 10 earlier. And getting above this thing is going to do what? It's going to go crazy. And it's a volatile market. And when you look at key low, key high, you're in a spot where 4 cents. And then you're breaking it here at 10. Make it up to about 50 something. Down to, we'll say quarter. 22 even. And work our way back up to 70 cents or so. And then we can just consolidate around 60, 64. Nice little up move to about $2. Yep, you know what? Let's just go and consolidate around 3.5. Oh, it did straight move up to like 11, 12, 13 for a while. To over 10, and it stayed over 10 from like start of March, the start of the new season. Just above 9 and change up until the middle of May. Like almost 2 months, around 2 months. Now it's getting back to that level. We could be resisting where we had support here. It's been it's been resisting it now for several periods in a row. And if you see any type of breakdowns, well, key high here is we got what 1048, I think. What's this kilo here? This kilo is 385. So that high divided by that number to the exponents, 0.618 and 0.382 and 0.382. That's the must-hold one. And then multiply that low again of 3.85. I'm not going to do it, but if it's more to you, that's how you do it. Okay. Next up is Theta Fuel. And we'll do it against Bitcoin. I mean, the daily chart's sick. But we're going to work our way back. So we'll look at monthly, then weekly, then we'll look at that sick daily. I mean, this in itself, it comes out at like 400 Satoshi, pulls down to like 30. Then it stabilizes around 56, well, 80 we'll say. 80 to 100. Now it's at 1,513, or 15 times higher. Here's a little bit. Here's that move. 1 period of consolidation. Just beautiful period in here. The April period. Because you can see it pulled back down to like 300 and change and closed at like 640. What did it do this period in June? Or in April, in May, in May. We had a little bit of downward retracement down to like 500. But we broke the previous month's high, came close to the all-time high it had at that point, and it closed near it. And we've already broken it within this month. On the weekly chart, here we have it, here we see it again. And then what we've had after is just that. It's already broken this resistance, yada yada, daily chart. Yeah, continuously. I mean, there's only been one down day. since the 25th of May. That was when it lost 1.2% on June the 2nd. This is just getting crazy how this thing is just grindingly making some nice moves towards the upside. 4-hour term time frame. Higher highs, higher lows. No explosive moves though either. I mean, it has had decent moves. I mean, this is 20%. And for this type of coin, 14% here in a 4-hour time gap. That's not an explosive move, really. Not for Theta Fuel. We're talking explosive moves like we're 40, 60, 80, and anything higher of percentage gains that could come into play. And even just as a day trading, I mean, 15-minute time frame, really what else is there to say about it? Good for day trading, even for long-term traders, though. I mean, if you say, I don't need to know about these short-term stuff if I trade long-term, and for the most part, you can say you're right, but that just means you are at times going to be buying and selling, and if you are at that moment, well, then 15-minute time frame could mean a lot to you then. Price action came up to this high on June the 7th, which is today, at noon, New York time. It then pulled back half hour later down to about 1,401, which ended up being monstrously large support, which even got lowered down to 1,400, pretty much even, although barely above that number, because it came down to 1412 at 1715, and then here 1402 was the low. But the whole point is, this level of support, every time it retested it, it held it. And it tested it quite often. If you rally, come back down. Okay, a little bit of a rally, come back down. A little bit of a rally, come back down. Rally. And this one here, this is where it broke. I'm gonna put a line on here, just take a look what the 1 minute looked like. I haven't seen the one. And just see how that played, because it really did establish this level of support. Because here's the support, here's the hit. This one here, yes, it went lower than that, but it didn't even close anywhere near it on that point or come back to it, or before or after anywhere near this line on this, before or after this period, that is. So at 1700 and 1730 stamp, it wasn't nowhere near it. You have this move, this nice little green candle, pull back, and then you give it right back. And there you have it. There's your excitation breaking this resistance. When you break that resistance, you expect to make a move to previous high. That's when it's done. Pierce the extra on it. And now it's came back to a correctionary move to a level where it just came from. And it can still pull deep into the area to correct for you. Maybe we come down here, key low, key high. Maybe key low is 1470 something, and then key high does go to like 17, 18, 19, whatever. As it goes, either way. If you think it's going to go to 17, 18, 1900, I can not only pretty much guarantee, but definitely guarantee you that we will be at 1630, 1640-ish area before then, which means that in a spot like that, if you wait for a break of resistance, that's what one strategy might be, just a clear cut level. Maybe what you want to do is, maybe you're the type of trader, you see this, you like it as it is now, you want to play for, you think that move is going to go higher. Maybe you want to see it hold and stay above like 1400 high change for a long period of time, establish some short-term resistance, and then break it, and that's when you pull the hammer, or whatever term you want to use to make a big play. So as far as this line is concerned here back, we supported it at 1926. And then we have our lower high rally resisting where we came from, pulling back. So in a spot like this short term, you look at a key fib from like 1417 and 73. You can pretty much see around this secular area here, which coincides with this fib support that it was looking like it was going to break down, and it never did. And one of the key things are, one of the reason why I'm even making these videos are pretty much doing around the same thing as Brian Shannon from Alpha Trends always says, always adjust to the message of the market. And situation like this, if you think it's going to be going down here, are you still thinking it's going to go down now? If it's going to go down, you'd expect it to probably not go much above 1457, yet it went to this previous high. This one here even, above this level, Okay, so you have this move. Is this going to be a real move? Well, key low to key high. We established the support. Now it's starting to go higher. Okay, key high to key low. And you break this, you expect a phenomenal move. And what did it do? Here, up, down, phenomenal. So now key low, key high. So far, lows and highs and lows are known after the fact. And also verbiage Brian Shannon said all the time. Looking like maybe this might be the low, and it's getting more and more clear within this 1 minute as it is now. I mean, are we going to trust this rally happening just now? But you have this move here to this high, this low. Heck, even if it goes up, do you trust this move? Does it go to 1550? And then do we lower high this and pull back? But as it goes, even short term, I wouldn't do anything short on this. Unless I seen, especially now that's going on now, unless I see this breaking down below 61.8% between 1500 to whatever this high happens to be. So if I see weakness amongst the 18 lows on the 1 minute time frame, I think that'd be the only way I think if I were to play it. I mean, what I did do is, I mean, this has worked out well for me. I already do trade this against a couple coins. I think it's stuff like Cardano and Doji, I think. And when it got up to this high of 1,000, the first time, at the high pretty much, I sold some of my TFuel for Bitcoin. Also made some other flips that worked as well too, and I bought back all of those flips as well. But what happened was my plan was, okay, well, if it goes this way, I want a noticeable move below 50% down. Then I'm going to take close to half the Bitcoin that I bought with and get a little bit more than what I sold in TFuel number, which is exactly what happened. Because on this day here, you can see that the low is 340. So selling at 1,000 meant significantly below 5. And it never really did significantly go below 5 until this little bit in here. And I was able to get like 4 little change, where I ended up buying it back and getting like, I don't know, 7, 8, 9% more Theta fuel than I sold, and for a little less than half of what I got. And I continue to trade up to buy like Doji and like Cardano and whatnot. But earlier today I took what worked out to be about 17, 18% of my T-Fuel, and I bought Teslas with it. And I'm going to just trade Teslas and T-Fuel together. That's one of the strategies that I like when you own coins. If you have something, get it cheap. Well, you have it cheap and it just goes sky high fly. And then when you're up, like, no, we're not talking like 100%, 200%, or 4x, 5x. We're talking 8x as a conservative low level, 10x, 15x, 20x kind of stuff. And anything, of course, higher. You can now take a portion of it and do so many creative things. One of it is, well, why don't I just take like a portion of it, buy this other coin, and then from here on in, I'll just flip it with this coin back and forth the rest from here on in. So what I'll do is, if, say, this pulls back, I'll have opportunities to take those Teslas, in the case that I bought them with, that I can buy T-Fuel with. And if this maybe just stabilizes, goes down a bit, and maybe even barely goes up, and then Teslas goes really big high, I can take some of the Teslas that I bought and I'll buy T-Fuel with it. Just keep on flipping back and forth. But it's just been an amazing run that T-Fuel has been on so far. As far as how high this can go, it's already had a noticeable move above this, but how noticeable? I mean, this is not the greatest of log charts. In fact, it's not a log chart. This is 100. This is 400, 700, 11, and 15 up top. So therefore, the move to get from this line to this line is greater from this line to where we are now, albeit barely, because 100 to 400 is 4x. What's 400 times 4? That's 1,600, and that's 1535. So once this gets to 1,600, it would be the exact same rate of movement. So when you put that into consideration, does it look to me, and this is why I don't like, and this is just a bad on TradingView's part, that they can't get the Bitcoin thing right. At least with these smaller numbers. Because if you go to like say, let's just take a look at TFuel against the dollar. That would be a perfect example. Wowzers. Yeah. At the start of the video, I did a bit on Bitcoin. I was like, do I really have to tell you why I think Bitcoin's going to go down? Do I really have to tell you why I think Theta Fuel is going to go up? It's at 51.6 cents right now. Wowzers. What's the daily chart look like? I mean, it's grinding its way higher. And that's the thing about these grinds. I mean, yeah, we could top at any given time. But it's not having that big moment. Like you see here, this is a 37% up day and a 43% that follow the next. It's up 7 today. It was up 17 that day. Resistance was established on March 24th at 56.86. What did we get up to today? 56.49. Oh, pretty much an exact hit. Piercing less. One of the things I like to see, and you notice here, and I mean, what you could do, I'm not going to do it. If you take a look at the 15-minute time frame and just scroll back to March 24th. And before you, and the key thing is why I'm saying that is back then, how much time, and you didn't know this would be the level back then, although technically you did for this reason being the high here, yes. But how much time did it hold and stay above, just around that line there? Reason why that's the case is it was this high, and it ended up being where it resisted here. Another way of putting it is, it never really spent hardly any time at all above that line. That's why I said if you go back in time to March 23rd, 24th, and take a look at like the 5-minute time frame, 15-minute time frame, you see, well, how long was it above there for? An hour, 3 hours, 6 hours, or 4 hours, and then maybe 2 hours later on, or 7 hours, or 17 hours, and then maybe later on for another half hour, whatever. 17 would have been high. I mean, probably would have been like 3 hours or 20 minutes or something. What I like to see in a spot like this, and I'm going to put another line in too, is for it to hold and stay above a key area like this. And the line will be roughly around here. Yeah. Because it resisted here. And I know there's resistance here, but I don't want to go that low. If it can hold and stay above either of these lines, find a way for this area to be support for a significant period of time. That's a kick-ass setup. This thing is poised to go off big and have a big move if it gets above this level of resistance. You see this at 62 cents? We're talking about going to like $1, $2, $3, $4 maybe. It's crazy. I mean, when these, especially these less lower in the level, lower in the ranking type of coins. I mean, Bitcoin, Ethereum, they're not gonna have days. Oh, we're up 400% today. And if it does, holy crap on the market. Let's just put it that way. I mean, I can't say that wouldn't happen, but I mean, if a whole crap load of big buyers come in on one day, it could go up 400% on Bitcoin. But I mean, no. This is just a crazy, crazy setup. But now it's time to conclude this video. And as I said at the start, I'm going to talk about fantasy hockey. And the date is June the 7th, but more importantly, it is the Stanley Cup playoffs. And all of my theories that I've been playing out and all of my calculations for hockey fantasy have been spot on. The amount of mistakes in which that I make within my fantasy gameplay is close to zero. And the amount of success that I've had has been amazing. And as it goes in the playoffs, the reason why it's better is multiple reasons. One, the types of games, the game type is better for my favor compared to the regular season. Overtime sucks. Overtime format's better for me in the overtime, although overtime I don't like either way. The other reasons is because, there's larger stakes that are available for me to be played. During the regular season, I was thankful it was higher than last season. I was able to play a few $100 a game. Very hard to play over 5. In fact, it was even getting hard to even play over 3 or 4, like 400 even sometimes, like 300. Try to do the numbers in my head, like 140, 200, 3. Yeah, it was hard to get over 340 a game. And now here I'm playing these games, and it's not. And last year in the semifinals, I was doing $1,500. I could have done a bit more. And the Stanley Cup Finals, the number would even just escalate even higher. We're in the Elite 8 of the playoffs, not the Final 4. And last year in the Final 4, I was betting about $1,500 a game. Now I'm actually at the area of about $700, $800, $900 a game. And it's not much. I'm pretty much playing maximum stakes. And that is a reason why hasn't been a video recently in like days. And probably could easily stay that way as we move forward. And for the next month, basically. As the hockey season will flow into July. From January 1st to now, I have pretty much made a full year's income just by playing that game. And that is with a 56-game NHL season where normally it would be 82. Shortened season. And that's with the playoffs in the Elite 8 currently. And later on in the Elite 8 now. So therefore, more than half of it's to go, but the more profitable part of it is at the very end. And because of such, just probably won't be too many videos again in the next 3-4 weeks. Take care. Bye-bye.